Good morning, happy Sunday. I am out here on my patio enjoying this beautiful sunshine and just sunbathing a little bit because I am so dramatic. It's like dropped below 70 degrees here in Arizona and I'm like freezing in my house. So I'm just sitting in the sunshine for a bit, getting warm, and we're going to talk about the faithfulness of God today, which I'm really excited to talk about. This is a really good one. It's very short and sweet, and I'm going to go ahead and dive right in because I'm about to get ready for church and have an incredible Sunday at church, and then I have a massage and just a self-care day, a nice, chill self-care, beautiful Sunday. So let's go ahead and dive into today, the faithfulness of God. It says, "He who calls you is faithful, he will surely do it." And this is coming from 1 Thessalonians 5:24. So in this little section, there's only like 3 or 4 verses. It's like a little paragraph. And it's basically talking about just being holy and blameless with your mind, body, and soul, allowing God to make you holy and blameless until the day that Jesus comes back. And then it says this verse, how basically it's saying like, He's told us that he's coming back, so he will remain faithful to that. And I love those types of promises where it just talks about God's faithfulness, because it just allows us to take a deep breath and know that what he's told us will come to pass. Even though we might not feel like it, even though like we might not see it, he is faithful, and that's all we need to know. So today's devotional says, "For doers and achievers, it can be difficult to be still and wait and see how God's plan is going to unfold." I definitely felt that. It's natural for us to want to know what's ahead and how it's all going to come together and when. Maybe you're the type who's not afraid to do her part. Give you a goal and you'll make it happen. But what if your part is letting go? Sure, it's easier said than done, but this season is more about surrender than anything else. And surrender is a complicated balance when we're trying to help our families build a dream and change lives in the process. Your efforts won't always be enough to create the outcomes you desire. Here's the good news though. The verse above gives us with a stress-alleviating promise. God will surely do it. Not you, not me, he. There are some breakthroughs that can only transpire with the move of God's hand. We can't force it, we can only flow in it. I love it. I love it so much. I felt super called out by this particular devotional because I'm definitely somebody who likes to be in control, get things done, make sure that I can predict how things are going to get done by when, I want to be in charge of it, like I can do it myself kind of thing. So I think the whole surrender thing is definitely a continuing lesson, a continuous challenge for all of us, right? Not only just me, but I think it's probably the biggest challenge that we face in our lives is just completely surrendering, because we want to be in control, right? Like that's just how we're wired. And that is where God calls us into a close, intimate relationship, and trusting him is by surrendering to his plan and trusting that he got it. Like we don't need to do everything, right? Like we can give him the reins and he will do an even better job. Sorry, I feel like that's really loud, the plane's here. So the question today says, how are you getting in the way of what God is doing by trying to make something happen versus putting it in his hands? So this is definitely, like I just mentioned, I think something that we all have been challenged with and struggle with. Sorry, I'm holding this in my hand, so it's a little shaky. Usually I have it on a tripod. I think we can miss out sometimes, and I know this about myself, especially recently in my life. I feel that I've been very challenged with this, where I've been challenged with circumstances of, am I going to continue to make the same decisions that I've made in the past, thinking that I can handle it, that I got it? Like I would rather predict and know and be in control of what's going on rather than trying something new and putting it in God's hands and trusting that he's going to take care of it. I think this can be really scary with like big decisions or things where we are so used to it being one specific way. We're used to a specific pattern in our life. We're used to doing things in a certain way that we've done, years and years and years. And we're used to that predictability. And if we switch that up it's like now there's this unknown that we're stepping into, and that can feel really scary. And this is where I've started to find excitement. And I think I mentioned this in the first video I did on here, about how God wants to take you on an adventure. And I think when we can look at it as this like exciting adventure, it becomes less scary than when we think of it as like, oh, this like unknown, we don't know what's gonna happen. Like we always resort to it going in the worst way, right? Like our brain thinks of like the worst possible outcome, and then we just focus on that, and it's just like a whole disaster, right? But if we can start to look at it as like, this can be an exciting adventure, and there can be random twists and turns that I didn't see coming, and plot twists, and just, looking at it from the standpoint of, I'm going to trust the Lord fully to bring me through this, and I don't have to worry about the how. Like, that takes off so much stress. And it's like the point of surrender is to take off the stress, but yet we add so much stress to ourselves because we worry about, well, if we surrender, then what? Then we're not going to be in control. But that's the point, is to not worry, right? So I think for me personally, I've just been trying to take this new stance on it, instead of it being this like stressful, scary thing to not know, what is going to happen, or stepping to the side, letting God take over. It's like, I'm starting to look at it as like, ooh, this could be fun and exciting, and anything can happen, anything can unfold, and thinking like, what if the best thing happened? And whatever the best thing is that you can think of, God's gonna provide you with something like 10 million times better, because he doesn't work that way. Like, he doesn't work predictably or comfortably or anything that we could ever imagine. He always works outside the box. So it's like, think of the best possible outcome, and then know that whatever God is going to provide is going to be so much better. And when we can start to look at it in that way, and look at it as this exciting adventure, it doesn't become as scary. It doesn't feel as scary, I should say. I haven't had coffee yet, so this is a rare sighting of me not having coffee, and yeah, just telling you guys my thoughts about this. So I think this just goes along with everything that we've been talking about when it comes to trust. They all really correlate with each other, and the more that we can just surrender, the more that we can let go, the more that we can realize that we don't have to have control over everything, I think that's when God is able to really step in and surprise us and show us that he's capable of taking care of us. He's capable of showing us things we can never imagine, and providing miracles and blessings and all those things. But he can't do that if we don't just like let go, step to the side, and let him handle it. So I would love to know, how are you getting in the way of what God is doing by trying to make something happen versus putting it in his hands? And I will say this last thing. If there's one thing I've also realized over the years, it's, if anything comes with resistance, and like it's gonna be this really, really hard thing where I just feel like extreme resistance to it, I look at it like, okay, I need to like not do this. I need to step back and allow God to show me what's gonna be a better way, right? To me, it's like, of course, not everything is going to be like flowy and easy and work out and be super aligned. But if you're meeting anything with extreme resistance and you're having to force it to make it happen, to me, that's just a sign that you need to step back and let go and let God. So let's end it with a prayer today. Lord, my hands naturally default to busyness. Remove the spirit of anxiousness from my heart so that I can rest in your timing. Align the work of my hands with your heart and plan. And somebody wants to come say hi. Come here, baby. Come here. Oh, yeah. Hi, Elvis. Say hi. This is my roommate's puppy. Well, I hope you all have an incredible Sunday. Please leave a comment below with your thoughts. I'd love to know what you think. Maybe where in your life you need to let go and let God. And have a beautiful Sunday. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.